Hello everyone, Shorts Fiat here, and today we're taking another look at the Galactic Civilizations 3 beta. In this video, I'm going to show you some of the customization options available for when you create your own race. Now for those of you that haven't played Galactic Civilizations before, basically you have a choice of any one of the available races, but there's also the option to create a custom race. So that's always what I've preferred the most, so I want to show that to you guys here today. So the first thing we're asked to select is our leader. One of the nice things about it now is, unlike the previous games where you just chose a picture of your leader and that was it, you can actually choose a background and a foreground, and this can either be a picture like this or a video, as it calls it, which is basically just a GIF, so to speak. It has a moving background and that kind of thing. So you can mix and match and then customize the foreground, what your leader actually looks like. And if the past experiences with previous Galactic Civilizations games are any indication, I imagine that you will be able to import your own pictures and things like that, which should be pretty cool. Hopefully you'll be able to import your own video files or whatever in the background for that looping animation. Probably be a little more difficult to create and import your own moving ones, but you can kind of mix and match like that. So it's definitely an improvement in the area of choosing your leader's portrait. Okay, so we got our leader pretty much like we want her. Trying to go for a really weird race of incorporeal beings, I guess, if you want to call them that. Obsessed with technology. So you can enter your leader's name and then a simple description. There's also some portraits to choose from. And again, I imagine if it's anything like the previous games, you'll be able to import your own portraits and pictures, which will be pretty cool. Or if you don't want to do it yourself, I'm sure when the mod community gets a hold of this game, we're going to be able to see like Star Trek or Star Wars races, that kind of thing. After you customize the leader, you go to the race overview and then choose a logo for your race. It has the default logos and then many others. Well, not too many at this point. I still find it odd that they keep Strong Bad's face in there, assuming that's what it is. But since we're a techno society, that looks like the most technological. Of course, all these symbols are pretty familiar to me since I played the previous games. Alright, so you can choose from one of the availables here, and each one has different starting conditions. I feel like this one looks good. Habitable world class 13 and 3, 2 dead worlds and 1 asteroid chain. Whereas if you chose this system, you'd have a lower high-end class planet, but the lower-end habitable planet is better. Where you can get randomized systems. I kind of like that, especially with the high habitable class. I tend to obsess with high-class planets. Alright, and then you enter the other names for your race, their homeworld, their description, the short name, and the long name. Alright, so now that we got the basic details out of the way, the next thing we can customize is your startup screen, which is a pretty nice feature, as is a lot of all this stuff too, because in previous iterations of the Galactic Civilizations series, there was nowhere near this level of customization, so I definitely welcome it. Alright, so now that's that done, we got our race's slogan, description of the race, as well as a description of the strengths and weaknesses. We're ready to move on to the next part, which is traits and abilities. So we're given an available trait points, and this is where we choose what abilities and advantages our race has, as well as what kind of penalties they have. So basically the way this works is you can put a point You have 5 trait points available. You can put them into the green one, the blue, yellow, or red. Basically, putting them into the blue will increase it, but take 1 point, but increase the bonus provided by a little bit. Putting it in the green will require 2 of your trait points, but give an even better advantages. So if you want to be have advantages in one or many areas, you also got to put some points into the red or yellow in different areas, which take away points. So we've described this race as a race that's incredibly gifted at technology, so we'll go ahead and put that in there. So now we're down to 3 points. Let's see. But we describe them as being very weak in ground combat, so we want to reduce that ability. Yes. So now we've essentially got a race that researches technologies faster, but does not do very well in planetary conquest or defense. We're still going to have good ships, it's just once you get on the planet, that's where our weakness is going to be. Okay, so we're done customizing that aspect. Basically, as you can see here, I've got in the red for courageous and brutal, so that's given us an additional 4 points to work with, but the downside is we're going to just be absolutely terrible in planetary combat. But that's fine because we're not going to be a violent species, so we've got the spare points now into likable, so other players will like me better, which could potentially offset the negatives from being poor in planetary combat. Not only that, I've decided that my race will be very good in ship combat, so ideally, while playing this race with the disadvantages that I have, it's going to be all about either getting them to like me or stopping their ships in space before they land to the planet. So, all in all, that could provide a good benefit because being likable could mean I could win a diplomatic victory easier, and the toughness of the ships, increased toughness of the ships, would help me further out, and if I never let it get to the point where they invade my planets, we'll be pretty much all set. However, given their body description, I made them a little less fertile or terms of reproduction, but since they're a highly technical species, I imagine that they'll be able to repair, or let's see how to explain it. Theoretically, I consider them integrated with the buildings and things like that, so have reduced maintenance costs, and because it's such an interesting and unique race, I have them set as popular, so they'll benefit well from tourism. Now we get on to racial abilities. So we're given 2 of these, and I chose to put them in Ancient, because you get research from precursor artifacts, and I've described this race as an ancient race if you read the brief description that I created, and of course intuitive to have advantages in research. So with that said, now we adjust the appearance of our ships and how they look, and this can be perhaps the most fun aspect of the game, because for those unfamiliar with Galactic Civilizations, you don't just customize what weapons and equipment is on your ship, but you pretty much customize how it looks. You've got a wide variety of customization options and things like that. I'm not going to show that here in this video because the previous video I made shows the ship customization phase. But here you choose your theme of your interface. We'll go Altarian. And then of course you choose your map theme. See, I think we're going to go blue's good. And then you choose a particular ship style. But again, you're really not, when it comes to the ship style, for those unaware, there's a variety of ones that look different, but you ultimately have the options, if you so choose, to start with just a small piece of equipment and then put whatever ship parts on there you want. So in that way, you can fully customize how your ships look, so you're not confined to these, but the ship style you choose is basically how the pre-made ships will be, so what your initial starting ships, but again, you can change all that later if you want. you can go full on customizable ships if you so desire. But if you don't feel like customizing them or anything like that, it doesn't hurt to pick a style you like. Yeah. And down here you can choose what material cosmetically your ships are constructed from, as well as the texture. We'll go with that. Then we set the personality. Now on this list you can choose the tech tree, and by default you get the base tech tree, and then you can choose one of the special tech trees of the races. But again, if the previous games are any indication, it, or at least Galactic Civilizations 2, came with a program that allows you to basically fully customize your entire tech trees and create your own, basically. So you could create entire new technologies that could then be researched, and then you could set what advantages they provided and that kind of thing. It took quite a while, but it did allow you to come up with some truly unique and interesting technology. So you could go full out and not only choose what advantages they provide, but provide good full descriptions of them, write in what is said when the technology is researched, all that stuff. So hopefully that'll appear in the final version of the game, which will be pretty cool. And then these others here are basically, well, the rest of this is basically how the race is going to act if it's controlled by the AI. So we're going for a peaceful race that's scientific and a little bit fanatical. And then here you can set the priorities. Again, though, this basically just applies if a computer is controlling your race. So if you want to set the kind of races you want to go up against, you can do that. So maybe if you're starting out, you want to make sure that it's all peaceable races. You could create your own custom races and set them all to peaceful, and you might have a better chance. So with that said, let's just save the race. And now we have our own race playable for when we want to start a new game. And that's the customization of the race as it stands currently in the beta of Galactic Civilizations 3. Hope you found this useful. Thanks everyone for watching, and have a great day.